Hello and welcome to Switzerland. In today's episode, I'm in Lausanne. What makes Lausanne so special? Let's take a look. On the northern edge of Lake Geneva lies the city of Lausanne, the fourth largest city in Switzerland. It is certainly quaint, and its location next to the lake has created a friendly, relaxed and enriched community. In fact, it was quite easy to forget that I was in a city at all.
Lausanne is a very nice city at the lake, Lake of Geneva, and can offer a lot of different things. It's center of the Olympic movement, it's a center of cultural events, it's a historical city that has been built 2,000 years from now. And well, it's a very leisurely city, human-sized, which has an international offer and student feeling.
So Lausanne is cultural with a rich heritage, has international acclaim, is leisurely, and has a large student community. So as a first timer in Lausanne, where do you start?
As a visitor, I recommend to visit, of course, the lake, the Olympic Museum, which is unique in the world, as well as another museum called Collection Art Brut. It's also unique in the world. But of course, our 13th century cathedral and the old town is very interesting to see. We have very nice nature and cruises and excursions we can do all around Lausanne. You need time to see all the aspects of this nice city, the pedestrian area also included and the shopping area.
Far be it for me to go against such sound advice, I decided to go and explore the city and its attractions. But first, a few things you should know. Lausanne is nestled within a noted wine-growing region, is the smallest city in the world to have a rapid transit system, and is the focal point of international sport, as it is home to the International Olympic Committee. It is vibrant, busy, but not hectic. In fact, I felt that the citizens of Lausanne were very much enjoying life rather than surviving it. In fact, it was this live-by-the-day attitude that meant whilst on my way to take a look at the cathedral, I just had to pop by and visit a little Swiss chocolate shop. Here, they have been hand-making their own chocolate for over 40 years and still do so today. As a result, the chocolate is rich, creamy and sublime, not to mention a rare experience. After all, it's not often you get to enjoy freshly handmade chocolate. Lausanne's fantastic Gothic cathedral is nearly 900 years old. Like most religious buildings, once you're inside, you can't help but consider deep questions. Whilst lost in thought, my silent moment was suddenly broken by perhaps one of the cathedral's most interesting features. The great pipe organ is one of the most unique instruments in the world. It took 10 years to complete and is composed of 7,000 pipes, 2 consoles, 5 manuals and a pedal board. There is a lot of Gothic influence in Lausanne. Spread along the lake shore is the Chateau de Qi. Originally built in 1170, around the same time as the cathedral, this former medieval castle has had its fair share of refurbishments over the centuries. It was originally fortified, then became a prison and was subsequently reduced to ashes. In 1885, the then abandoned castle was restored by Jean-Jacques America, and it was transformed into the hotel that we see today. The stonework shows its age and character, while the furniture is modern, slick and easy on the eye. Chateau de Qi has done a sublime job in making it beautiful to look at and extremely comfortable. You really feel like they have spared no expense. The cuisine is everything that you would expect from a high-class restaurant with a varied menu that can cater for all tastes. Being located on the lakeside means that you can enjoy breakfast, lunch and dinner surrounded by panoramic views across the glistening waters to the mountains beyond. Lausanne is home to one of the smallest metro lines in the world. It has a choice of just 2 routes, which cover 28 stations across the city. It's convenient and simple to use, which makes travelling around Lausanne so much easier. In common with many Swiss cities, every guest gets a free transport card, enabling free travel across the city. Quite interestingly, the voice that announces each station is apparently the voice of the city cathedral's current serving watchman. A nice little detail that reflects the city's community atmosphere really well. With such a large student population in Lausanne, the nightlife is of course vibrant. I was advised to head to the trendy district of Flon and was amazed to see such an array of stylish bars and restaurants. A clever use of lighting in many of the venues really makes the most of the characteristics of the buildings. There is a definite sense of embracing the heritage, with bars and restaurants making use of once derelict buildings and landmarks and creating a very cool atmosphere. During the day, and specifically on Saturdays, this trendy area is transformed into an amazing little market square. Residents fill the streets to buy their local produce and knickknacks. However, this wasn't always the case, as the Flon was once an industrial district that many locals used to avoid due to the smell of leatherwork. In fact, up until the early 1990s, the area was considered as one of the worst in Lausanne. However, thanks to development, it is now one of the most popular. Everywhere you look, there are people bartering and buying. Busking musicians play street music, serenading the bustling crowds that frequent the cafes and restaurants around the square. It's captivating, upbeat, and you can't help but want to join in. The shopping district in Lausanne has everything you would expect. Combinations of upmarket quality shops and local bespoke stores offer an elaborate choice for even the most awkward of shoppers. Lausanne's most significant feature is of course its location by Lake Geneva. As amazing as the rest of the city is, it's almost irresistible to avoid the urge to spend all your time here. One of the most extravagant ways to experience the lake is on a traditional steamboat. Lake Geneva is the home to one of the world's most important, most elegant, and most homogeneous fleet of side-wheeled paddle boats. The paddle boats were built by the Sulzer brothers of Winterthur between 1904 and 1927, and, in passenger capacity, is the biggest Belle Epoque fleet in the world. They were in fact classed as a historic monument of national importance in 2011. Standing on the bow, the lake breeze is refreshing and the boat itself moves at a reasonable speed. There is something fascinating about watching the steam-powered paddles revolving powerfully in the water. The boat's interior still oozes quality, albeit with a little wear and tear, but that is to be expected in a 100-year-old paddle boat. It's a relaxing experience that's only interrupted by the occasional blast of the boat's horn. Despite it making me jump on every occasion, it was always followed by a helplessly childish grin, and I wish I was the one making it toot. The vessel hugs the shoreline of Lake Geneva to make for a more interesting trip to other towns and cities that inhabit the shores. Whether by train, boat or car, one place worth visiting is of course the Olympic Museum. Lausanne is the official home of the International Olympic Committee and as a result is also home to a museum that celebrates the history of the Olympic Games. It's a modern building with a huge variety of things to see and do inside. Like all museums, it's educational and there are some fun, interactive pieces for visitors of all ages to enjoy. It is well laid out with some interesting exhibits and a must if you're interested in sport or the history of the games. In the hills and mountains that surround the city, you can experience wine tasting from local vineyards or make use of the network of walking trails that visit the stunning scenery and smaller communities. I can't recommend Lausanne enough. Whether you relax by the lake, take in the sights, enjoy a spot of shopping, or venture further afield to enjoy the dramatic surroundings, this really is a city that has an enormous amount to offer.